I want to talk to you a little bit today about the Denver Police Museum project that we've been working on for the last year. We were a 501c3 nonprofit that established itself last October. Our history goes back that 150 years to our first Marshal's department, or Marshal's office, to the Denver Police Department we have now. The 150-year history is full of everything from Old West shootouts and events that have occurred just as raucous and as rip-roaring as any other western town you can imagine. We've developed a lot over the last 150 years, and we think it's time to properly tell that tale. When you can have a tangible link to the past by picking up an object, feeling it, wondering what it was like 100 years ago or 150 years ago, to have been walking down that street and had basically a nightstick, a badge, a gun in your pocket, and in your wits. Things are a lot different now than what they were. And we need to show the changes that have occurred. And we have to have those links to the past. A three-dimensional, tangible item is a true link to the past. And our goal is to have a fully operational, fully integrated museum where you can look at three-dimensional displays, archiving, research. Historians will have the ability to come in and accurately research for information regarding the Denver Police Department. My father was a Denver police officer from 1957 to 1983. So for me and my family, our involvement in this project is, to be honest, it's about his memory and honoring his memory. The department played a key role in his life and that of our family as I was growing up. So it's an opportunity for the department to tell their own story. The future success of the department, as we all know, is going to be based upon the fact that we attract, or the department attracts, quality officers for the future. And I think that this is a great opportunity for that. For me, individually, honoring my father's memory and also being able to tell his story for our future generations is something that, you know, it's just an opportunity you can't miss. You go to historical societies, you see the butcher, the baker, you see the fur trappers, you see the doctor's buggy, but there's very little for law enforcement. And I got to thinking that law enforcement is a thread that runs through every community. And without that thread, you wouldn't have the fabric of your community. Part of the reason is that you can pass all the laws you want, but someone has to enforce them. And in the early days, the sheriff or the marshal would collect the taxes, which basically funded the community. So it's a very common thread. And if you wouldn't have had that lone marshal, that lone constable, sheriff, chief of police, you wouldn't have had the peace. You would have had chaos. And people talk about the thin blue line. It's truly always been there. You have to call someone. Someone has to be the centurion, and somebody has to enforce the laws and keep the public safe. It's not an exact science by any means, but if people could understand how it's evolved over the years, they might have a little bit better understanding of how it's going to evolve over the future. We've accumulated a few artifacts already at the museum, and we've got several private citizens who have artifacts they've either picked up. And one of our finds recently was this old set of keys here, which came from the estate of Captain Leonard Nevin. He started around 1929 and retired in 1959. We received a few items that he had the foresight to preserve when he was in charge of the jails and the juvenile correctional facility. We believe these keys to be from one of the earliest jails over at the basement of the City Hall in the 1890s. And it was an amazing find to get these keys. They're just a small part of the Denver history, but a lot of officers don't even realize that the police department used to run the jail for years. These leg irons, for example, we've got the matching set of handcuffs that go with it, but these date to about 1859 and fell out of favor by about the late 1860s, early 1870s. So these, again, are links to our past, going back around the time of the Civil War, prior to the turn of the last century. So these are the type of items that someone had the foresight to preserve. For whatever reason, Captain Nevin felt that these were important, and we're glad that that family did save these items, and they did get back home here to Denver where they need to be. This is something that, again, shows the history of the department. This came out of the Leonard Nevin estate, Captain Nevin. It was presented to him upon his retirement in 1959 by the department and by his colleagues. It was refurbished, and this is extremely rare to find. We have found call boxes, but they either don't have the insides to them, and very seldom do any of them have the actual original post, which would have been mounted on the street. And this would have been located on the corner of any beat that an officer would have walked. And prior to radios, he would have came over, opened up the box on his beat, picked up the phone, and called into headquarters to find out if anything was happening on his beat. If nothing was happening, he would hang the phone back up again, and he'd go walk around his beat, and he had an assigned, pre-ascribed time that he had to be here to answer that phone or to call in. Otherwise, they would send someone out from headquarters, usually a sergeant, to look for him and see where he was. The unique thing on these boxes is that they're extremely hard to find. Collectors value them greatly. They're very expensive. And we were extremely lucky to have purchased this, and it's going to stay in the city and county of Denver as part of its history. What we'd like to do is ask for your support, be it financial, or if you have artifacts or great stories. We'd like to hear from you. If you'd like to keep apprised of what we're doing and how things are moving along, keep checking out our website at www.denverpolicemuseum.org, or you can contact me at the Denver Police Department in District 4. And my direct line is 720-913-0277. Hearty thank you to Chief Whitman. He's been a supporter of this program that we started since day one. You'll see his testimonial on our website if you click on that. And none of this would have been possible without the support of the Denver Police Department and its members, its retirees, and the community.